The most scandalous and shocking facts about President Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, is often remembered for his humanitarian efforts and post-presidential accomplishments. However, his tenure and life are also marked by several controversial and surprising moments. Here, we delve into 10 of the most scandalous, shocking, and fascinating facts about Jimmy Carter. Fact number 1. A modest beginnings and devoted family man. Jimmy Carter was born on October 1, 1924, in Plains, Georgia, into a family of modest means. His upbringing in the rural South deeply influenced his values and political views, particularly regarding civil rights and social justice. Carter's father was a businessman and his mother a registered nurse who held progressive views on racial equality, which were quite rare in the South at that time. Carter married Rosalind Smith in 1946, and together they have 4 children: Jack, James, Donnell, and Amy. Their marriage is one of the longest and most storied in presidential history, celebrated for its mutual respect, partnership, and affection. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Carter has never been publicly embroiled in any extramarital scandals, and his fidelity to Rosalind has been a hallmark of his personal life. Together, they have been active in various humanitarian efforts, particularly through their work with Habitat for Humanity and the Carter Center, emphasizing global health and democracy. This deep commitment to family and humanitarian causes reflects the character and values that have defined Carter's life and work. Number 2. Youthful mischief, Carter's early indiscretions. Even U.S. presidents have their moments of youthful mischief, and Jimmy Carter is no exception. During his early years, he engaged in some mischievous acts that stand in stark contrast to his later image as a disciplined and moral leader. One notable incident involved him stealing a penny from the church collection tray, a small but telling act of rebellion. Another more serious episode was when he playfully shot his sister with a BB gun, showcasing a more rambunctious side to his character. These incidents, while minor, add a layer of human complexity to Carter's otherwise upstanding public persona and reflect the ordinary challenges and growth experiences of youth. Number 3. Jimmy Carter's nuclear rescue at Chalk River. In 1952, Jimmy Carter, then a 28-year-old Navy lieutenant, was instrumental during a partial meltdown at the Chalk River Laboratories in Ontario, Canada. As a trained nuclear engineer, Carter was part of a specialized U.S. Navy team sent to assist with the crisis, one of the first of its kind in atomic energy history. Carter's role involved being lowered into the damaged reactor for brief, 90-second intervals to minimize radiation exposure while helping shut down the reactor and manage the cleanup. This hazardous task underscored his bravery and commitment to duty, significantly influencing his later cautious approach to nuclear power as president. This experience not only demonstrated his technical expertise but also his dedication to public service in extreme conditions. Number 4. Tragic loss and early responsibility. One defining incident in Jimmy Carter's youth was the untimely death of his father, James Earl Carter Sr., in 1953. This event had a profound impact on him, as he had to make a significant life decision. At the time, Carter was a promising officer in the U.S. Navy, stationed far from his hometown of Plains, Georgia. His father's death compelled him to return home and take over the family peanut farming business. Assuming responsibility for the family's agricultural operations not only tied Carter closely to his roots but also deeply immersed him in the day-to-day challenges and realities of Southern agricultural life. It was during this period that he became more acutely aware of the socio-economic issues facing his community, particularly racial segregation and inequality. This hands-on experience in managing both a business and labor force, including African American workers, influenced his later political stance on civil rights and economic equity. Number 5. The UFO sighting. In 1969, 4 years before he became the governor of Georgia, Jimmy Carter witnessed an unusual event that would follow him into his political career. On a clear evening in Leary, Georgia, Carter, then 45 years old, observed what he described as a bright light in the sky. This occurred on October 6, 1969, while he was preparing to give a speech at a Lions Club meeting. The object, which appeared to be about as bright as the moon, changed colors from white to blue to red before vanishing. Carter filed a report of the sighting in 1973 with the International UFO Bureau in Oklahoma City, stating that the object was in view for about 10 minutes. Despite his rational, scientific background, Carter described the sighting as unlike anything he'd ever seen and promised during his 1976 presidential campaign to declassify government UFO information. However, once in office, he retreated from this pledge, citing national security concerns, which fueled further speculation and disappointment among UFO enthusiasts. Number 6. The Playboy Interview. In what turned out to be one of the most provocative moments of his 1976 presidential campaign, Jimmy Carter gave a deeply personal interview to Playboy magazine, published in the November issue. During this extensive interview, Carter, reflecting on his Christian faith, quoted from the book of Matthew, admitting that he had looked on many women with lust and thus had committed adultery in his heart many times. This candid confession shocked the American public, particularly the evangelical community, which had seen Carter as embodying the moral and devout Christian leader. This interview, which came to light just weeks before the election, nearly derailed his campaign. Critics and opponents used it to question his moral integrity and suitability for presidency. However, Carter's openness also garnered respect from others, who appreciated his honesty and human approach to his personal flaws and beliefs. Number 7. The Rabbit Attack. On a quiet day in April 1979, President Jimmy Carter faced an unexpected adversary, a swamp rabbit. While fishing alone in a pond on his farm in Plains, Georgia, a rabbit suddenly appeared, swimming towards his boat. The rabbit, appearing distressed and aggressive, hissed menacingly, which is highly unusual behavior for the species. Carter, taken aback by the aggressive rabbit, defended himself with a paddle, splashing water towards the creature to drive it away. The incident might have gone unnoticed, had it not been for a White House photographer who captured the encounter. The image, however, wasn't released until the following year, 1980, when Carter's press secretary, Jody Powell, mentioned it in a conversation with a journalist. The story quickly captured the public's imagination, leading to a flurry of media coverage, cartoons, and even a song. Dubbed the Killer Rabbit Attack, it became a symbol of the unusual and sometimes humorous moments that can occur during a presidency. Number 8. The Iran Hostage Crisis. The Iran hostage crisis began on November 4, 1979, when Iranian militants stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, taking 52 American diplomats and citizens hostage. This intense standoff lasted for 444 days, ending on January 20, 1981, just minutes after Ronald Reagan was sworn in as president. The crisis was precipitated by America's support of the deposed Shah of Iran, who had been admitted to the U.S. for medical treatment. This act infuriated many Iranians, who saw it as continued U.S. interference in Iranian affairs. The hostage crisis dominated American media and became a daily concern for the Carter administration, with television networks even altering their programming to provide nightly updates, famously titled "America Held Hostage." The inability to resolve the crisis quickly and the failed rescue mission in April 1980, which resulted in the deaths of 8 American servicemen and 1 Iranian civilian, severely damaged Carter's credibility and was a significant factor in his loss to Reagan in the 1980 election. Number 9. Brother Billy's Libyan Connection. Billy Carter, the younger brother of Jimmy Carter, was often in the headlines for his unorthodox and occasionally scandalous behavior. One of the most significant controversies erupted in 1978 when it was revealed that he had accepted a $220,000 loan from the Libyan government. This transaction raised immediate concerns about potential influence peddling and national security implications. The situation escalated into a full-blown scandal, popularly known as Billygate, leading to a Senate investigation. During this period, Billy was registered as a foreign agent of the Libyan government. This affair brought considerable negative publicity to the Carter administration, with the media and political opponents questioning the integrity and oversight of the president in relation to his family. Jimmy Carter himself had to publicly distance himself from his brother's actions, emphasizing that Billy's actions were private and did not reflect his administration's policies. Number 10. The Energy Crisis Blunder. During Jimmy Carter's presidency, the U.S. faced a severe energy crisis, marked by fuel shortages and long lines at gas stations. This crisis was a result of reduced oil production during the Iranian Revolution and ongoing instability in the Middle East. In response, Carter emphasized energy conservation and proposed comprehensive energy legislation, but his policies met with mixed reactions. One of the most memorable and criticized moments came with his televised Crisis of Confidence speech on July 15, 1979. Though he never used the word malaise, the speech is often referred to by that name. In it, Carter described the fundamental issue as a crisis of confidence among the American people and laid out a plan encouraging energy conservation, including reducing thermostats and wearing sweaters indoors. This suggestion, intended to inspire collective action, was instead perceived by many as an indication that Carter was out of touch with the practical realities facing everyday Americans. The speech, although initially well received, soon became a symbol of Carter's supposed inability to effectively address the nation's more immediate economic problems, contributing to his image as a weak leader.